Good morning, everybody. So today's paper is basically studying the relationship between two major constructs, which is personality and well-being. So we'll look at the definition of personality, the definition of well-being, the conceptualization of each. Then we're going to look at the relationship between those dimensions of personality, the big five dimensions, and the dimensions and facets of well-being. We'll directly go into personality. Personality has been defined in many ways, like 16PF, big five traits, maybe MBTI indirectly, and so on. But the most prominent one is big five traits. So we look at openness to experience, which is imagination, artistic interest, intense emotions, and so on. Conscientiousness is the second facet, which looks at self-efficacy, orderliness, dutifulness, achievement, striving, and so on. Extraversion is the next facet, which looks at friendliness, gregariousness, assertiveness, activity levels, and so on. Agreeableness is the next facet, which looks into trust, altruism, morality, cooperation, modesty, humility, and so on. And finally, we look at the concept of neuroticism, which is the fifth facet, which is individuals who have anxiety, anger, depression, vulnerability to stress, and so on are high on neuroticism. Then we look at the concept of well-being, where we look at self-acceptance, autonomy, positive relationships, personal growth, environmental mastery, and a purpose in life are the six facets of psychological well-being as defined by Riff. Self-acceptance is the degree to which an individual accepts himself and his past and is compatible with the same. Autonomy is the degree to which one is the boss of his own life and whose decisions are made based on one's own values and preferences rather than others. Positive relationships is good functional relationships between people. Personal growth is growth in terms of both the diversity of activities he does and the depth of activities he does. Environmental mastery is basically the degree to which one person is in control and mastery over his own life, daily work life or family life, and so on. Meaning in life and purpose in life is the degree to which a person is having a specific purpose in life and is aligning his life in such a way to attain his purpose. Then we go to the hypothesis, which is first we look at neuroticism and psychological well-being. Neuroticism is basically neuroticism people have high discontent and negative effect in life, and we know that people who are discontent and negative have lower self-acceptance. Then we look at neuroticism, which is related to relationships. Neuroticism leads to depression and lower happiness, and these aspects are not ideal for making friends. People do not like people who are depressed and low in happiness. Hence, these people have lower positive relationships. Neuroticism is also negatively related to personal growth because we say that neuroticism leads to anxiousness and stress in new situations. So these people have lower exposure to new situations and there is lower personal growth. Then we look at neuroticism and environmental mastery, where we say that neuroticism is related to lower hardiness and resilience, lower in handling situations. Lower hardness and lower resilience leads to lower environmental mastery. Finally, we look at neuroticism and lower meaning in life, where we say that neurotic people have lower positive relationships in life, which is an important aspect of meaning in life. Hence, neuroticism is lower positive relationships, which is further leading to lower meaning in life. All these relationships which I mentioned are have been studied in the literature. That is one thing to note here. Then we look at agreeableness and lower autonomy, where we say that agreeable people tend to be more conforming in relationships where they take the opinions and preferences of others into consideration heavily. Hence, they have a lower degree of autonomy. Agreeableness and positive relationships, by definition, agreeable people are trusting, generous, humble, and altruistic, which are all ideal cases for friendships. Hence, agreeable leads to positive relationships. Then we look at agreeableness and personal growth. We say that agreeableness leads to positive relationships, which is possibly more diverse kind of relationships, and diversity helps in personal growth. Then we look at the hypothesis 4, which is agreeableness leads to environmental mastery. This is also an indirect path. We look at agreeableness leads to positive relationships. These relationships are resources in the social sphere, and resources in general help in environmental mastery. Hence, we say that agreeableness leads to environmental mastery. The last hypothesis here is agreeableness leads to meaning in life, where we say that agreeableness, people are highly altruistic and humanitarian, and they have a high degree of social commitment, hence have a high degree meaning in life. Extraversion people have positive effect, which is flourishing individuals. Flourishing individuals have greater self-acceptance. Then we look at extraversion, which leads to warmth and gregariousness. Warmth and gregariousness are related to positive relationships, hence extraversion is related to positive relationships with others. Further, we look at extraversion and personal growth. Extraversion people have high energy, activity, and liveliness. And when this energy, activity, etc., is put into new activities, we see that there is a greater amount of personal growth. Then we look at environment mastery and extraversion. Extraversion leads to positive relationships, which is a social resource, which leads to environment mastery. Finally, extraversion leads to meaning in life in the path that extraversion gives energy and activity. Hence, we see that these individuals are better at goal seeking and achievement, which leads to meaning in life. Conscientiousness is the fourth facet, where we look at conscientiousness leads to autonomy, where we say that conscientiousness leads to achievement, self-discipline, and competence, which make individuals confident and independent, which leads to autonomy. Second, we look at conscientiousness and positive relationships. Conscientiousness people have high dutifulness and high commitment in relationships, which are ideal for generating positive relationships. Conscientiousness people also have personal growth because they have higher achievement, striving, self-discipline, and efficacy, all of which help in continuous development. The fourth hypothesis, conscientiousness leads to environmental mastery because conscientiousness leads to self-discipline and dutifulness, which is better management of responsibilities, which help in environmental mastery. The final thing in this slide is conscientiousness leads to meaning in life because conscientiousness leads to self-discipline and dutifulness, which is goal-seeking and pursuit of major life tasks. All these pursuit of major life tasks and goal-seeking helps in meaning in life. The final relationships we are looking at is openness to experience and psychological well-being. Where we posit that openness to experience leads to autonomy because openness to experience leads to adventurous behavior and creativity, which leads to rebelliousness, which is related to autonomy. Openness to experience also leads to positive relationships because these people are having empathy, sensitivity, and broad-mindedness and tolerance, which all lead to positive relationships. Similarly, we see that openness to experience leads to personal growth because these people are open to novelty and variety and are intellectually curious, which are all related to personal growth. Then we look at openness to experience, environmental mastery, because wider set of relationships leads to more social resources, which leads to environmental mastery. Finally, we look at openness to experience and meaning in life because openness to experience is related to movement by art and beauty, which is civilization, which is an important concept of meaning in life. So here we completed all the hypothesis. We are going to complete this paper by actually doing an empirical testing and see which of these relationships are validated in the research. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.